Join me as I dive into some true crime mysteries that are so baffling, I'm challenging myself to solve them before the end of the video. True crime mysteries continue to fascinate people around the world, and it's not hard to understand why. There's something about the unknown, the unexplained, and the unresolved that draws us in and refuses to let go. Whether it's the thrill of the chase, the puzzle to be solved, or the sense of justice yet to be served, true crime mysteries have a way of captivating our imagination and sparking our curiosity. Some of the most intriguing true crime mysteries are those that seem to defy explanation, where the facts are stacked against the accused, and yet doubts linger. In this video, we'll be exploring some of the most perplexing cases that continue to baffle investigators and the public alike. From the mysterious disappearance of a young mother to the gruesome murder of a wealthy businessman, these cases will leave you scratching your head and wondering what really happened. One of the cases we'll be looking at is the disappearance of Tara Calico, a 19-year-old college student who vanished while out on a bike ride in 1988. Her case remains one of the most baffling in American criminal history, with no signs of foul play, no suspects, and no leads. Another case that will leave you stumped is the murder of Richard Kerwin, a wealthy businessman who was found dead in his mansion with no signs of forced entry or struggle. The only clue was a cryptic message scrawled on the wall, leading investigators on a wild goose chase. In addition to these cases, we'll also be delving into the murder of Sherry Papini, a young mother who was kidnapped while jogging in 2016. Her case is particularly intriguing because of the bizarre circumstances surrounding her disappearance and the eventual capture of her abductors. And finally, we'll be exploring the case of the Grimes sisters, two young girls who were murdered in 1957, with the killer leaving behind a series of cryptic clues that have yet to be deciphered. Each of these cases is unique, yet they all share one thing in common: they're still unsolved. As we delve deeper into the details, you'll be struck by the lack of evidence, the conflicting testimonies, and the sheer complexity of the investigations. But that's what makes them so fascinating, don't you think? Let's start with the disappearance of Tara Calico. On September 20th, 1988, Tara set out on her usual bike ride, but she never returned. Despite an extensive search, no trace of her was ever found. Theories abounded, from abduction to murder, but the truth remains elusive to this day. One of the most bizarre aspects of this case is the lack of any signs of struggle or foul play. It's as if Tara simply vanished into thin air. Fast forward to the murder of Richard Kerwin, a wealthy businessman who was found dead in his mansion in 1993. The investigation was one of the most extensive in American criminal history, with thousands of leads and tips, but none of them panned out. The only clue was a cryptic message scrawled on the wall which read, "Killed for revenge, but revenge for what? And by whom?" The questions remain unanswered to this day. The abduction of Sherry Papini is another case that will leave you stunned. On November 2nd, 2016, Sherry was jogging near her home when she was grabbed by two women who bound her with zip ties and drove her away. The investigation was one of the most complex in recent history, with multiple suspects and theories. But the truth was finally revealed in 2019. But even with the capture of her abductors, the case remains shrouded in mystery. Finally, there's the case of the Grimes sisters, two young girls who were murdered in 1957. Their bodies were found in a forest with no signs of struggle or evidence of the killer. The investigation was one of the largest in Chicago's history, but it yielded nothing. The case remains one of the most baffling in American criminal history, with the killer's identity still unknown. But here's the thing. One of these cases has a shocking twist that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Are you ready for it? It's the abduction of Sherry Papini. Just when you thought it was a cut-and-dried case of abduction and murder, the truth comes out. Sherry's abductors were none other than her own sister and her boyfriend. The motive? Revenge against Sherry's husband, who had allegedly wronged them in some way. It's a twist that will leave you speechless. As we recap these true crime mysteries, you can't help but wonder what really happened. Each case is unique, yet they all share one thing in common: they're still unsolved. The lack of resolution, the missing pieces of the puzzle, the unanswered questions, they all contribute to the fascination we have with true crime mysteries. So, what do you think? Do you have any theories about these cases? Share them with me in the comments below. And if you have any